Thank you so much, Sister T. That introduction makes the work so easy for me because I think the background you gave about why we're doing this webinar is it was quite potent, and I think it helps guide the discussion. And I'm very humbled and encouraged at the numbers. I normally do, I don't do as much because I do the YouTube thing already, but when I do get invited to, collaborate with people I believe in, and you've not hidden that fact that we've known each other forever. I love your spirit. I've always done, and I'm so encouraged that this ministry is waxing from strength to strength. Needless to say, you have a mighty man behind you, who is submitted to the same God we love and trust. So it's a joy to be in your company and the company of your followers, your audience, and all that. It's a passion, and I'll be doing nothing other than doing what I'm doing today. It's not hidden that the children mean so much to God. Children mean so much to God, and I'm driven by, if you like, the same passion. And I was kind of discussing it with Sister Tia and Brother Sam earlier, that if you know how Jesus treats children, then we'll pay more attention to them. What I'm finding, having done this for full time for over 4 years, I see, I research, and I know that families are hurting. Families are being hurt by this gift. The enemy has a way of counterfeiting some of the good things that are introduced to our world. We are in this world to do God's bidding. God didn't promise that it would be smooth sailing. And so we get bumps on the way. And many families are going through those bumps. And those bumps or hurdles, if you like, are being, cost. And I don't have percentages, but mostly by exposure to the digital world or the cyber world. And my ethos, my passion every waking day is to make sure that I am making a difference in the life of a parent, to help fortify them to fight this fight. It's not by power, it's not by might, but there's no harm in getting information. So it's important that you understand that this drive is the same drive that we read of in Luke 17:2. Basically, do my children no harm. And so I'm keeping vigil to make sure that our children are not coming to harm whilst we are awake. And so it's important that you had that context, or I give that context, so that we can, understand each other. A little bit, just a little bit, not more than 90 seconds. Just before COVID, I decided to pivot and give back to the world, if you like. The IT has been so good to me. Technology has been so good to me. So I found that I want to give back. And I quietly asked myself, what would I do? How can I give back to the community that has been so good to me? And all I was hearing was family. There is so little done by vendors to protect the family. They protect the office, the enterprise, but they're doing very little for the family. And so I found a gap. And then the rest really is history. From 2019 till today. Every week I upload one video teaching you as a parent or a guardian. We may have some of you here who are guardians or you have oversight over children. And it is fundamentally important that you are armed. Okay? That intro out of the way. What I have found, if I was summarizing the impact the internet has had on homes, and I have been a pastor, I have also received feedback one-on-one about the damage it's done and is still doing. It is it shouldn't surprise you that this investment is worthwhile. We really, really have to step up. I often hear parents say that our kids are smarter than they are digitally. And it's okay. And they'll use excuses like, anyway, my child should be more intelligent than I am. That's a good prayer. And yes, it's a good prayer. But you are the parent and they're the child, or they're the children. And so you must be in a position where you are mentoring. But it will be hard to mentor a child if you don't have the information to mentor them in that area. And so I'm finding that we are, as parents, relegating the responsibility of shading our kids whilst they journey on, and this may come as a shock to you, the new playground for our children. And I suspect, having looked at the participants on this call, and some of you, I know your names, so I know that we're not very young, okay? So it will mean that our children are adults, they're probably married and all that. And so we may feel that we can hands off because our children are now made, they're settled. If I'm, ringing a bell, grandchildren are coming. And by the special grace of God, I have a grandchild, Bella, who already has is exposed to the iPad. And thank God, with supervision because of what I've learned. So gone are the days where we'll just hand over, a tablet to a child and tell them break a leg. That is not happening under my watch, and neither should it be your experience. So there are lots of things that we need to do. The same due diligence that we show in all other areas of our family lives, it needs to be more so with our children now digitally. And as like I was trying to say, there's no way you are able to inform your child if you are not informed. And I release a lot of videos every week, and I touch on these things. So for those of you who follow the channel, and I've left the subscription link in the chat. So please feel free. You will be doing me and yourself a good service if you subscribe to the channel, if you're not, because this is how you get empowered. So there a lot of work gets put into making sure that you are informed, which will get you leveling up with your child. You are no longer intimidated by their knowledge. That's why we hands off. We tend to hands off from guiding or shading our children because we say we're not equipped. It's not an excuse. We are culpable if our children go awry or they go, miss their way whilst journeying on the internet under our watch. And so that's no longer an excuse. We have to level up. And by the special grace of God, I'm trying to fill that gap, which means that every week I'm touching on a topic or a question that someone has submitted that I feel the answer will benefit you. So our children are now on the internet. Whether you like it or not, they're on the internet. In fact, if you're buying them a gift, usually it involves tech. And so if you're giving them tech, the next thing will be internet. And so they're already exposed. I was telling Sister T and Brother Sam earlier that you may be being fooled by thinking that your child is safer at home than they are when they go out. As I speak, many people on this platform, many parents on this platform, have children with laptops or tablets, and there's an agreed privacy rule. Mom, don't enter my room without knocking. Dad, don't enter my room without knocking. At times, they even lock the door. So they have an opportunity to hide whatever it is that they're secretly watching before you enter their room. So privacy, which should be earned, is now being abused by some of our children, God forbid. But the reality is that it is happening. And I can only say that because I'm hearing it by one-on-one engagements with parents. The issue of pornography, cyberbullying, grooming, all the things that Sister T mentioned, they are happening to our children. And because they're locking their doors, we don't know. So you feel they're safe at home, but they're actually vulnerable at home, because one other thing that may be happening is that we're not hands-on enough. So if we don't take time to engage our children, if we don't level up with the information this channel and other channels are providing to get us leveling up. And some of us may be so busy because we're working, we have to earn. And the beauty of a YouTube channel is that you can log on anywhere. I started a podcast about 2 months ago, tackling very close to heart issues. The whole idea is to get you empowered so that you will have a boldness to engage your child. A child who is 13 or not 13, in my humble view, in the channel's view, does not have any business engaging on social media. Now, many on the platform will say, what world is Lawrence living in? I'm living in the same world you're living in. And the deceit of the world is to get us to a place where we feel that we're getting in the way. Let your children be. But children need guidance. That's why they're children. And so if we take this journey with them, we communicate with them, they'll feel comfortable to tell you about the gotchas that they see, that sometimes out of the mystery of what they're doing on internet, they could click a button and boom, illicit content shows up on the screen. It's a shock to their system, but if there's no one in the room, you won't see it. If they don't have a communication outlet with you, they're not going to tell you. And the curiosity of man will cause them to go back to that same link to see more. Before long, an addiction comes through. We talked about sexting. We talked about a lot of things that are happening on the internet that the kids keep away from us because they don't have the connection. And so we constantly advise on the channel. And indeed, when I have the opportunity to minister to any parent, please get involved. We found by stats that dads actually are absent. Dads don't, and I was so happy that Sister T mentioned it's a woman's ministry, but she said dads are welcome. That's the right thing to do. Dads are not exempt. They're also parents. That's why they're dads. So we're saying that dads on the platform, dads on this platform, should stand up and shade the children. Lead from the front. So you can't just be a dad on all other matters and then when it's the internet, I don't have time for that. We're losing our children. And now that we are now exposed to grandchildren, we have an opportunity to do it all over again. And I'm more excited. It's almost like I'm going to the gym. So I need to flex my muscles, my gray matter, improve myself so that when they bring those complex issues, I can partake. So gone are the days where we run away from tech. We run away from online conversations. Get involved. Be vulnerable. Let them see your weaknesses. In fact, you'll be so surprised, and some of you will relate, that our children love teaching us. Because we've been teaching them for so long, they want an opportunity to teach us. So if you open up, if you and I open up, honestly, our children will bless us with the knowledge required to get us to their level. And if you don't communicate, how do you know when they're going the wrong way? Because you ask questions. You understand their language. You know, if you don't get involved, that's how those words come in, and then you hear it, and then you say, how dare you use that word in my house? I've been using it for years. Because you don't get involved, you don't know. But you would have nipped it, you and I would have nipped it in the bud before it grows to that. And so we encourage communication, we encourage engagement. It's a playground, which means now it's no longer in the field, it's online. And the dangers that exist online, I can tell you now, 99.999%, the rogues are out for your children. That's not a prayer, that's the reality. They want, because they know that if they can con a child, groom a child, they can get the child to do anything they want them to do. And that's the lie. Those are the schemes of the evil one. There's no I was going to say smeh. There's no oh, why are you so bad? Why are you so mean? They don't have hearts. You know, we have, by the special grace of God, had our hearts replaced with a softer heart. So it's more pliable. These vendors, these wicked people just want, chaos for our children. And so if we don't step up, like I said, if you don't teach your child, somebody else will teach them. If you don't engage your child, someone else will engage them. It's like a vacuum. You know, I don't want to sound preachy. I think I've dropped enough things for you to understand my heart. More so for you to understand the responsibilities or the things you've ignored for so long. There's no longer an excuse to hands off. Kids are not for Christmas. They're forever. So, and then of course, grandkids follow. So we have a revolving responsibility. If it's not your child, you have responsibility or oversight over godchildren or other family members. So there is an opportunity for us to step up. How do we step up? Inform yourself. Of course, reading God's word is paramount. So I can't overstate that fact. We're children of God. Feed ourselves with God's word, and then every other thing will flow from that. So it's not the other way around. Go and get research and do that and then come and pray. No, pray. Let the Lord lead you. Let the Lord make it easy for those of us who have ignored this for so long, have an opportunity to, get involved. It's not late. That's what I'm saying. It's not late to get involved. Because you can either get involved with the grandchildren, or when they give you audience, you can still speak to them, talking about the direct kids. So we have a duty of care to protect these children all over. Online livelihood is not exempt. In fact, it is more so now the place that we must invest the more. Invest the more, You don't go to work, do one job, 2 jobs, 3 jobs, ignore the children and occupy them with tech. And then on the tech or the internet-enabled devices you're giving them, there's no protection. So you may think that you're occupying your child whilst you're going out to make a living, which on its own is not a bad thing. But weaponizing them with unprotected gadgets, now that I'm telling you that you could be doing a good thing, but it's actually a bad thing you're doing because there's no protection. So you will learn how to get your equipment, all the internet enabled equipment to, to a protection level that will help the child or not expose the child. You'll be able to lock it down, protect them. So if you give them an iPad, you know that that's all you're doing. There's no harm. If you do it well, there's no harm that will come from that device. And it extends to your desktops, laptops and all that. Since mobile became a thing, a mobile phone, since we started communicating on mobile, it has been chaos. And we can't catch up, or rather we can't, it's almost like we're always behind. And I'd rather try and keep up. You don't have to be a guru at playing the PlayStation or the Xbox. That's not what I'm suggesting. I'm saying have an open door policy. Have a communication stream with your children such that whenever they want to discuss, the digital discussions are not off limit. They can bring those discussions to you because they know you're going to provide virtue. You're going to give good advice because you have leveled up. How do you level up? I repeat myself, by subscribing to this channel. And through this, I will expose you to other channels that will help you so that I have opportunities for you to come in, book a chat with me if you want to discuss other things. And I'm just going to quickly show you that, and then I would let the questions come in. Let me just show you the YouTube channel so that you make that a place that you visit regularly. And if you're on my contact list already, I think you will already know this. So this is the YouTube channel. The link to the channel is in the chat. So all the videos so far, you can see that 200, and I was wowed by this when I saw it. The 213 videos, the channel was birthed in 2019. And I talk about everything there is to talk about. I mean, when you look at all the videos that have been, it covers pretty much everything. And all you have to do is log in. You don't have to log in when you're busy. Just do it when you have, instead of watching TikTok videos that are teaching you, well, enough said. Instead of doing any other thing, invest your time in this, because you'll find a lot of value. There's a lot of things that I cover, there's and I'll kind of end, but you can go here and you can watch this to your heart's content. I also have a website that you can also go to. Again, these will help you, similar content, but there's a blog there that will give you some information. And there is that site, I don't know whether you can see, there's this, should I open it? Let me just open it. I think that will help. There's, let me take that out. You see, I even have, I partner with companies or vendors that will help in the area of pornography, the accountability things that your child may be being exposed to. These are all things that I am able to expose you to that will help you in your journey with your young one. So it's really all there. And like I said, on the website, for example, you can go there and book a chat with me, and it will be a Zoom chat. So there will be 30 minutes that I can offer you for free. We'll have a talk, and if it needs to go further, we obviously can discuss that. So you book a chat by simply going to the website and clicking that, and you can choose a day and time that suits you, and we will chat, okay? Of course, you can reach me also with the email address that you see on the screen, or rather in the chat also. But ultimately, I'm here to help you level up. I think I've gone on for a while. I may not have covered all the things, so hopefully the Q&A will help address some of your concerns. Sister T, that is the brief. So you may want to take over now, and then we can go into Q&A or any other thing you want to do.